Hi, Mister. This is my final reflection for my portfolio of classroom management. I will be answering the questions one by one. Okay, so let's start. What class that you prepared are you most proud of and why? The class that I am most proud of is the first class that I had with the sixth grade. The planning was very easy for me and Benjamin. The outcome of that class was absolutely fantastic. Most of the students were able to participate during that class, during that lesson. The students managed to answering the questions that we made with Benjamin. Uh, we gave examples to them. I think that is the class that I am most proud of. Okay, so the second question is, who is your student you will remember the most from this semester? I think a student from seventh grade. He was at the top of the class. He was in the first row actually. He wore glasses. He was a student that all the questions that we made, he always raised his hand and tried to answer those questions. Also, I will remember him because he liked an anime called One Piece. He was a fan of that anime, that TV series. I think that will be my favorite student. He was a very good student, actually, clever and smart. Um, what is something you learned from your guide teachers that you would like to imitate? I think the use of popsicle sticks are quite useful when we're trying to ask the students. Most of them, they don't like to answer the questions because they are shy or don't know. But when we use popsicle sticks, they are all like expecting something. For example, like, I don't want to be chosen. So for me, it's funny. I don't know if for them it's the same, but it's something that I would like to imitate. The engagement that our guide teacher had was very good actually. I liked it. What is something you saw in a vacation this semester that you would like to change? I think the classroom management during our lessons with the seventh grade was difficult, mostly because of one student that has had SEBDS. he he was very conflicted with his environment, so we tried to calm down that student. So that is the only thing that I would like to change at that school and that um environment. All of the things were good. We had support from a psychologist and a social worker actually for doubts and things that we had according to the sixth or the seventh grade. Look back on the goals you set at the beginning of the semester. Have you met them? What evidence do you have? What do you still need to improve on? I think that when I started my practice this semester, I was afraid of failing. For example, I don't know, being a bad teacher, but I think I faced off those fears, and I think I fulfilled my expectation actually. I tried to be a professional at that field when I started my practice with the sixth and seventh grade. Something that I need to improve are the lesson plannings and my instructions. I have to give clear and short instructions for students. For me, it's difficult because most of the cases are um, I have to participate of micro teachings. So all those students are classmates. So the instructions that I gave to them are kind of complex and more and longer. So when I met those students at a sixth or seventh grade, for me it's difficult to make shorter and less complex sentences for them to understand what they have to do for each activity. Something that I would like to change is only that, for example, the giving instructions, um, a better planning, lesson planning, for example, with clear activities and things like that. What type of school do you imagine yourself teaching? What type of school do you imagine yourself teaching in? So, okay, so I'm planning a future with someone, and with this person, we have talked a million times of what we are going to live, and we came to a conclusion that both of us want to live somewhere at the south, maybe in Rapa Nui, for example, mostly because I like that place. It's a quiet, uh, a magical place for me. Its beauty. It's a simple life. I would like to work at a school from that place. That would be my dream school, actually. Which are the strengths and weaknesses of your classroom management interventions regarding to BCM project? I think my extremes would be to adaptate the my educational settings to improve teaching practices, the curriculum development and resource allocation by treating educational institutions as a value creating organizations. Educators and administrators could use these strategies to engage educational outcomes and ensure efficient use of resources, for example. Um, for example, the framework can be adapted to emphasize the importance of creating values for students through engaged students, leading to a higher satisfaction and better learning outcomes. For example, this approach can help educational institutions understand and manage the interrelationships between teaching quality and student satisfaction. And finally, delivering value to the students applied to education. These principles can help create value for students. This includes developing innovative curricula, adopting effective teaching methods, and ensuring that educational resources are used optimally to meet student needs and expectations. So their value can improve educational outcomes, actually. If you have the chance to implement one of your interventions, again, what would you do different and why? I would say my last lesson plan with the seventh grade, actually, I, it didn't went bad, but it didn't went well neither. It was difficult for me and Benjamin to work at that um, course, mostly because we did know the students, but we didn't know how to work with them. So if I had to do that intervention again, I would try to do it better, try to engage the students with an activity or an icebreaker or a thing like that, not related to the topic that we were trying to revisit, but try to make the students feel safe, not to be afraid of failing that class. What interventions did you find the most useful to be applied in your future teaching? Okay, so the most useful intervention was the first one with the sixth grade. As I said previously, most of the students were engaged during that class. They tried to be part of the class, actually. The games that we had with Benjamin were useful for those students to engage the class. It was pretty easy for us, that lesson. The planning, though, was kind of difficult because we tried to look for new strategies for the students. We knew the educational needs the students needed, so we tried to synthesize those things in order to create a good class, which the outcome was quite well, actually. So here I have some evidence of our class. This was the last class that we had with the seventh grade. And here we have my lesson planning with Benjamin. This will be in the Google side of my portfolio, so you can have a look then, okay? And here we have my academic references. So I hope you like my final reflection. Goodbye.